Welcome to What's Niggling Me. In 2014, China began sterilizing the Uyghurs. And I don't hear nobody talking about that. But Ryan. Yeah, I know, it's because they're Muslim. That's why nobody cares.
I guess I don't seem to care what China does.
I'm surprised Russia allows that because those people look like they're Russian. Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think a jam boy is without saying something that's going to get me booted off here?
You say a jam boy?
Yep. What do you think a jam boy is?
I've never heard the term, so I would say a jam boy. A homosexual.
No. Kind of, actually in the Urban Dictionary I found a definition that I suppose you would say is gay.
A man that jams stuff up his butt.
Okay. I'll give you the official term. That's in the Urban Dictionary, but like the official description of what a jam boy is the British, when they were colonizers, they would go to India and Kenya and have the people there, the Indians and the Kenyans, rub jam all over themselves so that the mosquitoes would go after them instead of them.
Jam boy.
Yeah, and then they got to keep the jam.
That was on them?
Yeah, I swear to God, I read that on multiple things that they were like they weren't kidding around. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't the Urban Dictionary. Now,
what do you mean they kept the jam after it was rubbed on them?
I guess maybe
they scraped it off them and they used it? They ate it?
I think so. This is an 1800s thing, as far as I can tell.
Jam was pretty sacred back then, no?
Yeah, but they wanted to keep the mosquitoes, especially when they were playing golf. The mosquitoes, the white golfers wanted to keep the mosquitoes away from them, so they would lather these people up with jam, and they'd stand off to the side. I don't know.
They didn't have bees back then?
It was like a mosquitoes issue. But let me tell you that on Urban Dictionary, there is no censorship. Let me tell you, what I read was very insane. Okay, I one of them, and from 2012, Evan Stone, he hit on yours. It says, a unique relationship between two heterosexual male friends who occasionally engage in ass play with one another, specifically insertions. And let me put it into a sentence. Hey, I know we've been friends for a while and that we aren't gay or anything, but maybe you want to be jam boys. But I also found this wild definition of a jam boy. Crazier than the ones that I had already explained to you. And this is from 2011. This is on here on the Urban Dictionary. A Korean jam boy is the act of smearing kimchi pepper paste on the face of a small, weak Korean man boy to attract the mosquitoes while you troll through Seoul looking for sideways vagina to slay. The size of the Korean jam boy is insignificant since every Korean man can be physically dominated by any other race. If the pepper paste runs into his eyes, you can piss on his face, because if he starts to cry from the burning, you will have to kill him and throw him in a dumpster and get a new one. The night usually concludes with banging his sister while you make him videotape and beat off in the corner. After which you allow him to wash the kimchi pepper paste off his face while his sister folds your laundry and cooks you Korean barbecue. Before you kick them out, you take all of their money, so they have to walk home.
Jesus Christ.
Then used,
It's wild.
yeah, and then it's used in like how to use that in like a sentence in a conversation.
Yeah.
It says, "Friend, dude, your Korean jam boy is fucked up," and it says, "Hey, me. I know. I had to break both of his arms because he was eating all of the kimchi on his face." Someone wrote this in 2011, and it is on the Urban Dictionary. And wow, when I was looking for definitions of jam boy, I didn't expect to come across that. Those are not my words. Those are not my words. Are you surprised what a jam boy is?
I like that last one.
Pretty wild. Did you see Scary Terry should be real scared?
Which one?
Terry Rozier?
Why?
Because in my
Is that what you call the kid from grade school?
I think so, yeah. In my opinion, Terry Rozier is fixing games. He was already accused of it when he was playing for the Hornets, and I watched his last game. Who's he playing for? Chicago? I think that's who he's playing for. And bro, he has to be benched. He's a liability because what he's doing out
there. Bad on purpose?
Oh man, I swear. Too many things. Too many. I think he should be worried. There should be definitely an investigation probably going on. And they're going to be reviewing those tapes, and it doesn't look good to me. Let alone somebody that has access to good equipment to go through everything. He looks like he's in trouble.
Sure, if you could blatantly see it, then
I know. I saw something. Did you see this? If you've been to Dr. Esther Park's clinic anytime between October 10th, 2020 and October 10th, 2024 and received one of the following procedures. Okay, I'm not... Endocervical polyp incision. I don't know what that is. Endometrial biopsy and or getting an IUD or getting an IUD removed. You might have been exposed to potential bloodborne infections like HIV. But don't worry, Dr. Park's license has been restricted, and she agreed to restrict her practice to only office-based gynecology. So, if you've been there, you better call a lawyer. Get ready to sue Dr. Park. Look for a class action. That's in Toronto. Over a 4-year period, they weren't cleaning their needles and shit. They weren't sterilizing their stuff. So.
For 4 years?
For 4 years.
Why? Like, that's that criminal?
Yeah, that person's gonna be in mad, trouble.
I mean, what a piece of shit.
Bro, remember those people I told you that Biden pardoned? Remember that one girl? That one girl was doing something like that, right? Not that, but what was she doing?
She was a bad human.
Yeah, what was she doing? She was She was diagnosing people with cancer that didn't have cancer and giving them cancer treatment, bro. Biden pardoned that woman. That fucking piece of shit woman. And she was, what do you call it? Because what she was doing was it was insurance fraud. She was like, giving these people treatments and stuff. Oh, but she was also like, giving like, say, I don't know, random measurement. If you were supposed to get 1 gram of something, she was giving them 0.25 of it and billing the insurance companies for 1 gram. So she was like committing fraud as well. Yeah, profiting off that, but also diagnosing people with cancer, didn't have it, giving them fucking chemo, fucking poisoning them. Crazy, bro. Biden pardoned that girl. Like, she deserves any time off a sentence.
Disgusting people.
Wild. Bro, you know, obviously, so I've been talking to my Aunt Kay for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And she says at the end, I see this message this morning when I open up my thing when I leave work, and it says, you realize with some planning and sacrifice, you could have a degree in political science by the time you're 40 and have lots of opportunities. You just didn't dream big enough. Look at it this way, you would still have 42 years to make a different life by the time you're my age, and I'm 18 years older than your parents. That's how she ended. She's in Don't Sell Yourself Short. That's how she ended her long message today.
You go be in politics?
And I joked about that recently and said I can't do that because I didn't live that. Too many people can be like, yeah, I took a bunch of mushrooms with him and stuff. Too many people.
Me and this guy did a bunch of drugs before.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
They got dirt on you.
I can't do that.
Which political opponents will smear.
Yeah, because, this guy smoked a bajillion joints.
They come to me and try to pay me to say something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I can't do it because I took a bunch of mushrooms and ecstasy and smoked a bunch of weed and stuff. And I partied with way too many people all over the place, like all over Ontario. Like, not just in one area, all over the place in different areas. I can't,
Bad boys. What would you do?
even though RFK Jr. was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it. But I still can't do that. That's not for me. I hate politicians. Did you see big news? The WNBA is talking about a lockout, like a protest.
The WNBA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that girl saying that.
Bro, Angel Reese is delusional, eh? She just doesn't know. She must not watch any game tape of herself.
100%.
Like, if you watch game tape of yourself and you see yourself wheeling the ball at the rim like she does, not even at the rim, just at the net in general, I suppose, and you think that that's quality basketball, that's insane to me.
She get embarrassed all the time with people.
How do you think that you could protest for more money when the league lost $40 million last year? How do you give players more money when you don't sell enough tickets to make enough profit? You don't get a raise when you are in the red. Like, you don't get a raise when the business is failing. That doesn't make any sense. So
Just make it make sense. Make the business money.
She's delusional. What I think is crazy is how silent Caitlin Clark has been, right?
Yeah, I never said anything about her.
That's pretty cool. I like that. And I'm not a Caitlin Clark fan, but because there's just too many dick riders. But I like that she, I don't know, isn't trying to be all like, I don't know, she's fucking normal. Like, look how hard Angel Reese tries. Like, you're trying so hard. And you just sound dumb. You sounded...
She's on every platform trying to make money.
She sounds as dumb as she plays. Right?
Yeah.
She constantly runs her mouth with the worst takes ever. Like, horrible takes.
Girl boss.
Girl boss. What was I seeing, right?
Private.
Mm-hmm.
What do I got here? You haven't seen the fights yet, eh?
No. Oh, did you see? Hey, I'm wondering if Blake Lively will pull an Amber Heard. Did you see Amber Heard?
No.
Well, that's because her name is now Martha Jane Camry.
Huh?
Amber Heard got so embarrassed, she changed her name and moved to Spain.
No way.
Swear to God. Tell me your fucking career got ruined. Like, fucking changing your name and moving to a different country that doesn't speak English. That's gonna be Blake Lively.
You think?
Bro, people are going to people are gonna rip her. She's got a new movie coming out with Anna Kendrick. Maybe it already came out, I don't really know. What's funny actually is I watched the first one of it years ago whenever it came out. Simple Things, I don't know, I forget what it's called. Simple Things, something like that. I don't think I can watch it because I have a hard time watching any fucking movie or show there is now. Even though there is a couple that seem interesting, I've heard recently, I have a hard time because everything's so fake and gay, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Need a fucking lighter. Where the fuck is it? There we go. Did you see Antonio Brown on Joe Rogan?
yeah.
Man.
I just can imagine it's wild, yeah.
You know, I don't even know. Oh man, he's delusional though. He's a little delusional. He's not stupid. Okay? He's not stupid. I think the way he has come off, it is that he is stupid. He's just not a smart person. But he knows some stuff.
He seems retarded.
I know, but he does know. Fuck, I drew up ashtray. He does know some stuff. But he's a liability. I would never attach myself to that guy whatsoever. He's a liability.
He says the most insane shit.
Joe doesn't know that Joe doesn't know how much of a liability he is. I don't think. You just don't want to attach yourself to him. One thing I went into that podcast hoping for, knew it was probably not going to happen. But I really hoped that Theo would have planted this seed in Antonio Brown's mind, because that's got to be the only reason he went on Joe Rogan, is like Theo told Joe, hey, this would be, you got to talk to this guy. That's my guess. Right, because he just had Antonio Brown on not that long ago. So what the biggest miss of the whole thing is he didn't get him to, he didn't even ask him to say the N-word. That would have been,
He didn't ask Joe Rogan.
he should have, bro. The way he pushed Theo to say the N-word, and then it should have been a golden moment that, hey, I'm trying to get everybody to say it. Like Antonio Brown, it would have been the best. It would have been so funny. Obviously, Joe wasn't gonna say it, but if he just would have said, if that topic just would have came up, it would have been the funniest thing ever to me. And I thought it was a missed moment. Before I even clicked it, I'm like, bro, if he tries to get Joe to say the N-word like he did Theo, this will break the fucking internet. But it unfortunately didn't happen.
I was like, don't do it. That's tired.
Fuck. You gotta, in this next week, you gotta like, whoever has something that interests you, or whatever person maybe is talking about it that interests you, but just look up Brian Koberger, because I want to get your take on it, because I think that if you watch something, you'll want to know more about it, because it's so crazy.
Brian Koberger?
Yeah. So I need you to watch something on that over like the next week or something like that, because this guy's case is going to come up, and it's the weirdest, craziest, doesn't make sense case. But it looks like this guy's dead to rights. He did it. But it's not foolproof, and I think that the prosecutors are going to have a hard time making sure 100% like they can pin it on him. It's taken a long time for this trial to happen.
When did the crime happen?
2 years ago, maybe?
What do you think happened? Or do I wait to tell me?
Bro, I don't know. I know what it obviously looks like, but I think they're gonna have a hard time.
So did you get Young Thug? How are they gonna get him?
Cause bro, it looks pretty obvious. Brian Koberger is 30 years old and accused of killing 4 of the 6 people inside a home in November 13th, 2022. November 2022 is a long time ago to have not gone to trial yet, because the evidence is so tough. But you know what the biggest thing is? They fucking demoed that house. The trial hasn't happened, and they demoed it. You shouldn't be getting rid of evidence until the case is closed. They demoed the house because of it's a traumatic place or whatever they fucking said. Yeah, it's traumatic, but like, why would you? What if they get a tip of something while they're building a case, and they're like, oh fuck, we should go back and look at that or something. You go back and run through the house again or whatever. I don't know if you know who John Wayne Gacy is. He was a serial killer.
Yeah.
And they went through his house and didn't find the bodies the first time. This guy went free.
But they were in there?
Huh? They were in the yeah. They were under the house in a crawl space. He had or maybe not even a crawl space. Maybe he had, I can't remember. He cut out the floor, but they were under his house. He like cut out the floor in a room, or it was a crawl space. I can't remember. Maybe because I'm getting Breaking Bad in my head with it. But he dug into the dirt and buried like a fuckload of fucking kids, like teenagers. He buried a bunch of them in there. But this guy was, you have to be like this. He, like, and there's a bunch of them, a ton of politicians are like this, that they're sick in the head and they can just lie to you with a straight face. And they're super confident. Kind of like Gavin Newsom. They're super confident saying the lie.
Evil people.
Yeah. And he like taunted the police after they had already gone through his house and everything and didn't find it. Like but then they were still surveilling the house. Like they knew this motherfucker was kidnapping these kids, but like somehow couldn't prove it. And I forget how they. I don't even know. They smelled it. This idiot invited the cops that were staked out of the house, in the house for a drink or whatever. One of them went to the bathroom, smelled the bodies. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's been a long time since I looked at John Wayne Gacy up. Busted for a bunch of kids. This guy was a millionaire. John Wayne Gacy is a really interesting story. What they just tell you, the majority of people I bet you know, is that John Wayne Gacy dressed up was like a clown killer. That's what they would say. He's a clown killer. John Wayne Gacy was, in some communities they have like I guess you would see it in TV shows or movies where like, but this is back in decades ago when communities were smaller, where they're like like a community, I don't know, like parent-teacher committee or parent-teacher, whatever those kind of things are.
Yeah.
How that would be, like a parent-teacher council at a school. So like the community that he lived in had kind of like that, like the people in the community would get together type of thing and go over things, I guess, in the community. And he was the president of this, okay? In the community. had a $1 million construction company. Like, you have to be successful. Like, you have to be smart in order to do what he did and get away with it for as long as he did. And sick in the head because he had already gone to jail previously while married, I'm pretty sure, for, I want to say sodomizing a boy is probably what they called the term was then back then. Went to jail, got out of jail, moves like cities, not that far, maybe like not that far, maybe like states, maybe like in Idaho to Chicago or something like that. He moved, starts a construction company, becomes $1 million company. He's hiring young teenage boys to do the work, and tying them up, and like honestly, it's real fucked. Like this guy was fucked, but kidnapped, like taking these boys and doing fucked things. He just didn't eat them like Dahmer, but he was doing fucked things to these teenage boys.
He's fucking them?
Yeah, but tying them up first, like duct taping their mouth, like real fucking crazy, sadistic stuff. But because he was this, to the neighborhood, to the community, he was this good guy, dressed up as did kids' birthdays and dressed up as a clown. That's why they call him the clown killer. But like, there's so much to this guy. But they say, oh, he dressed up like, I think people think he's like, I think it's it. Like, he dresses up as a clown and kills people. Fuck no, that is far from what he was. It was a very elaborate, and he was, able to build, and I think he only really got caught because he kidnapped a boy that he obviously shouldn't kidnap any of them. He kidnapped a boy that, like, it was just, the mom was real adamant about son getting kidnapped. And you know, back then they said everyone is runaways. I just been talking about joint the whole time. Yeah, back then they didn't like anytime someone went missing, the cops would always just chalk it up to a runaway all the time. Bro, I know a lot of fucking serial killer stories, and they were abducting people all over the place, all over the countries. That's why I know crazy shit was happening. It was so normal. It was so normal. Because hitchhiking was so normal.
You would have done it, you're saying, back in the day.
No, it's fucking insane. I've tried to learn about what humans are capable of. So learning about history and what all these fucking humans were able to do. That's why when they called Donald Trump like this horrible human, I'm like, people obviously have no clue about the people that have lived on this fucking planet, because I can name you just tons and tons of horrible, despicable people. You would just, the stories that you hear are so PG-13 of bad people. If you want to know the full story, fuck. I research and find the full story. If there's a 3-hour movie, I'm about to go find way more information than a 3-hour movie, documentary, whatever it is. I'm going to find it all. I have Epstein's Black Book from so long ago. They go and put this Black Book out last week, and it is more redacted than the one that I fucking looked at fucking with all the names and all the numbers and addresses, like how the amount of contacts you have for each person, and the list is long. There's so many people I never even heard of. But did you, okay, so you watched Ian Carroll and Joe Rogan though, or listened at least?
Yeah.
I can't believe that's your first time hearing about him.
I didn't know who he was at all.
He appeared last year, and I'm not saying he's an op. I think no op would ever talk about the Jewish people the way he does. So I know that he's not one. I just know that he was a teacher before. I remember him saying before, when he was speaking with somebody, that he was a teacher before, and I'm like, that's why he's able to present his information so well. I'm like, it's the difference between him and I is formal education and being able to teach. So he's able to present things very well. He's good at it, and I'm happy that he doesn't have a limit. So you watch that. So right near the beginning, if you even go back and watch, I don't know if you watch, just listen. Go watch how fast Joe Rogan turns Ian Carroll away from Trump and Epstein. The emergency button that Joe hits in there is he turns that conversation real quick from Trump and Epstein. He did not want to go into that. When he mentioned Melania, oh, buddy, I was like, Joe doesn't like this. I was like, I can just tell Joe doesn't like this.
Your Carol goes in on stuff.
I felt so vindicated when he kept bringing up Whitney Webb's book, and I'm like, man, what's the last page on my that I have on my Instagram from a year and whatever ago is One Nation Under Blackmail, that book. That was my sign off of my Instagram account. Was I put a picture of the Amazon, you should go buy this book. And then the other one is RFK's book. Those are the last pinned things on my Instagram. I left them there, and don't care to ever post again on it. I left those 2 important books on my Instagram pinned at the top. Not my fucking 6 million views. I viewed video. It's those are the most important fucking books, because people need to understand how fucked and how long this has been going on. And all the key players and all the generations of all this fucking dirty shit happening. And now we have the internet. We live in a time in history. The only time in history, like, the other times in history when this happened, I think we're lucky that this is a information war. Because the last time revolutionaries happened in time, they were violent. At least this is an information war. But we have the internet, and we have that's our voice. Before, though, they were overthrowing leaders. Revolutions, they chopped.
I thought that was good. That might happen here, no?
They chopped the French's fucking heads off in France. They went and stormed these rich motherfuckers and chopped their heads off. Just fucking guillotining people, bro. We live in a time now where we get to call out the leaders. Is it a very insane thing?
It's a blessed world we live in, yeah.
That's what, and my biggest thing is we have hot water and electricity. That's what makes those fucking 2 things make this the best time in history, because they were not clean. Most people died. The majority of people died from fucking mosquitoes. We live in a way more sanitary in this where we live right now, here in this current location, our locations. Nobody had it like that. It was like hot running water, and plumbing. Bro.
I did not have. I only having cold water.
Bruh. Like, so insane. Toilet paper hasn't been around that long. Like, it's crazy the times that we live in.
They use corn now at one point.
They use anything. I didn't know how grimy to get, bro. So my mother decided to tell Aunt Kay that I have an opposing view on Ukraine. I even told my mom after I read the message when me and Aunt Kay were talking a few days ago. When I get this message, I'm like, oh God, clearly my mom said something, because I wouldn't get this type of message unless my mom said I don't stand with Ukraine. So what's amazing is my Aunt Kay will read and watch stuff that I actually send her, instead of saying that's too long, like my mom. So Aunt Kay watched an hour and a half, the Jeffrey Sachs thing. She meant that in the beginning of the message that she sent me today. It was that she watched it because we had talked about him after I had mentioned that and sent her it a couple days ago, and we were talking out a lot of history, and then she messaged that latest message was that she had watched it, and it's funny, when I was trying before she had watched it, I was trying to explain, but not get too. Remember when I was telling you things about what happened during those times in Russia and Germany?
Yeah. Bad things.
Man. They can't teach you that. They can't teach you that stuff, because if you read it, you would know. You would just agree, right? If you heard these things, you would just agree. But I had to explain. I know what Stalin did to Ukraine. I'm talking about the last 36 years, but I know that Stalin had the Russian army, the Soviet army, go into Ukraine and take every seed that these people had in their houses, every morsel of barley. I remember reading, uh, like there was at a point there was no birds, there was no wildlife. It was just dead quiet. They had to eat. They had to eat blades of grass to stay alive, and the good ones died first because they didn't prostitute themselves or eat the other people. That's what I. That's I know how bad it was in Ukraine. Okay, I'm aware. They're not going to teach you that in fucking school. They can't. That's because it's graphic. What happened in all of those, the Baltics and all the Eastern Europe during those 30s and 40s is nasty. It's nasty is the word that I can use. It's so I completely understand. We don't understand. We because they can't teach us it, but Aunt Kay knows it. See, that's what is different. Is she's born in 43, and so her generation's the last one. Mom's generation doesn't know. Mom's generation grew up in the hippie movement, and they were just living the good life. Mom's generation was living. There was no fear of war gonna be over here or anything like that. But during Aunt Kay's, the people, her parents, went through fucking hell. They they went through war and shell shock, and they were the propaganda, right, was like these people were they were convincing kids that they had to hide under desks because that would actually do something if a nuclear bomb fucking dropped from the Soviets. Like they were scaring the shit out of generations. And so, but she grew up during that time, and she grew up during a time when Chrystia Freeland's fucking grandpa came over here, and like a bunch of other people came over here. So it's interesting to know, so I'm gonna have a video call with her. I'm not gonna record it because I can't even imagine it, but I'm going to have a video call with her. I gotta set one up this week because there's just so much texting. There's so much the message is too long things, and I'm like, I was like, I need some time though because I gotta write like down some things, some notifications, some notes, just of topics or in questions I got and people like I want to ask about. What was the sentiment at that time? What was the feelings, the atmosphere around these certain things? What was because Uncle Bill was locked into world events and they were reading world news and stuff like that. I'm curious, I get to get a different outlook on things, and I'll float and I'll be able to float some things at her, like, oh, let me know, and like maybe I'll try and see if like Jim can she can talk to Jim about any kind of thing. So I'll float that later in the conversation after I've hopefully built up some good points. Interesting. Seriously, I can't believe it. Who would have thunk?
I know.
My Aunt Kay.
Thought she was like my mom.
Me too. Had no clue. But Mom did just mention to me last year at some point that Uncle Bill set them up. He was huge into stocks. So he was constantly reading the news, and he would know what's going on in like China and everything like that. Yeah, he knew the world markets and stuff, and I'm like, oh, like, how come I never knew this? And then I just started talking to Aunt Kay. Oh, I forget what it was. oh, we got a fuckload of snow here. So I had messaged her and I was like, hey, just got like probably the most amount of snow in a week that I got since I lived in North Bay there. And then it just, I don't know what it was. I have to go back, and it just sparked some kind of conversation to where now we're talking world politics every day. It's pretty crazy. A woman born born in 1943. Yeah, but you know what's crazy? Not many people like that. So my mind gets to race with a million new thoughts, because I get to talk to somebody that's even a generation before, talking to mom and dad, or like anybody in their 60s, like that one guy that I work with there, that's 67.
Yeah.
Now 80, like someone that's that old. I get to in that, like, can remember things. I get to hopefully learn a bunch of stuff, bounce ideas off her. She knows Epstein didn't kill himself. That's crazy. That's so funny to me. Like, that's hilarious to me. That made me laugh so much. It was a short message when she responded back, and it's like 5 lines, and she's straightforward. That's what I appreciate too. She was always super straightforward when I like lived in North Bay near, and she's still super straightforward. She'll like say an obvious point to me, and then put like 5 question marks behind it. Like obviously, like it's fucking hilarious.
How old is she? 70-something?
81, I think.
81.
Real cool. I impressed her enough to convince her, for her to lay out a plan for me to get a degree in political science. She laid out a rough timeline for me, because I guess like I seem interested.
Since you're gay, you could go to the Liberals.
Oh, well, I read that you could do this. The Canadian military is now accepting people with all medical conditions, because they say there's a spectrum. Major General Scott Malcolm, the military Surgeon General, says the forces will now consider applicants with any and all conditions for enrollment, including anxiety and asthma.
Transgenders too?
So those that are on the lower end to medium spectrum are unlikely to have challenges getting in.
No, but they're on the high end.
Bro, can you imagine letting... What job is a person with anxiety doing in there? Dishes?
Yeah, someone that's
Cooking? They can't even... I wouldn't even trust them cooking. What kind of... What is so weird? You're hurting that bad? We're hurting that bad.
Yeah, no one trusts this country.
I get it.
The people having their kids go and fight wars for our governments. I love being in war.
Yeah, that irritates the shit out of me. Oh, that always like irritated the shit out of me, seeing people fucking advocating for it, and I'm like, bro, you're never going over there. Your kids are never going over there.
Here, not here.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has defended allowing transfer of millions of dollars to Hamas-run Gaza, despite criticism from within his own government.
I think I've seen that.
In my opinion, Benjamin Netanyahu is the worst person on the planet right now. I'm pretty sure out of 8 billion, to me, Benjamin Netanyahu is #1 worst human on the planet.
I like that.
The amount of, it would be crazy to tally how many lives he is responsible or is partially responsible for. How many dead people? Because he was the one advocating in 1996 to go into 5 countries in 7 years or 7 countries in 5 years. But Iraq, yeah, that was the popping off. They didn't get them all. Iran is still kicking. They really fucked Lebanon. Bad. And Hezbollah, they really fucked them up. Israel did. And everyone's always like, oh, the pager thing is the most impressive thing that's ever been done. Bro, what about 9/11? That's way more impressive. To me, 9/11 is way more impressive to pull that off than the pagers. Pagers is simple work for them. But they took out Hezbollah, and no lie, Hamas is gonna have to make a deal, which is pretty crazy. Hamas is gonna have no power anymore. And then Al Qaeda is fucking murdering tons of people in Syria. Israel is letting kind of just kill the people off type of deal, because they're just killing Christian. They're just killing Christian people. So right now it's kind of like this at this point in time, teaming up with Al Qaeda, the same group that was cutting Americans' heads off. They're on the team right now. Eventually, they're going to be an enemy again, but just not right now. So they're running Syria. Taliban's running Afghanistan. Iraq's looking to move the age of consent to get married to 9 for girls. So the plan's going interesting over there in the Middle East. But I think Benjamin sees it as a win. He's still in office.
No, he's in office.
His dad lived till 94 or something.
Yeah. He'll be in office till he's fucking dead, probably.
Bro, you know the new scam? You know the new scam I see that our liberal government is trying to pull this little scam. One thing is, I think that they're going. Oh, I'll say that. This little scam I think I see them doing is, you know how Theo Von got emancipated?
Yeah.
You know what they don't. That word's too known. Okay, I think that word's too known now. So you know what they call it? A mature minor. That's it.
Yeah.
They rephrased it and call it a mature minor, so that if a mature minor wants to get any procedures done to themselves, whether it's, and this is for the MAID program, they're pushing for allowing mature minors to do the MAID program. When I read mature minor, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, what the fuck? It's an emancipated person. Bro, so Theo Von got emancipated at 14 years old. Are you gonna be allowing fucking 14-year-olds to kill themselves? Because I think that's the wrong route we should be going in human history. That sounds like lobotomies and sterilization, and just like we're going real far backwards to in improving human life.
That's what they had in Futurama.
Yeah, I remember, but like mature minors, I was like, that's crazy that you're gonna, and then allowing them to like castrate themselves and fucking, there should be no things for minors, not even mature minors. Can't believe the mature minor thing.
The 14-year-old mature one.
Bro, that's insane. That's insane. Why does that shouldn't even be up on the pages. It shouldn't even be like on a list of things to get done. The things we need to get done, we shouldn't be focusing on, hey, let's get mature minors to be able to have gender affirming care and the MAID program accessible to them. That shouldn't be on the list of things to do. Why is that on the list to do?
It's like a sick. I don't know. Gabriel Zarian said the Jews push the sick shit, the transgender shit.
Well, they created a lot of
They don't follow it themselves.
They published a lot of the books and stuff like that in our history. In the news. But books, textbooks. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and make a lot of immigrants citizens in the very near future. You know how they were fearing that in the United States? And then they were going to get them to vote? I'm pretty sure we're going to do that. I'm pretty sure Canada's minister, their immigration minister, is going to do it. Did you know that Justin Trudeau and Hillary Clinton are cousins?
Really?
Swear to God.
That's not right.
A, the Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs says anti-Zionism is a form of anti-Semitism.
Jesus.
They don't they of all the other 194 countries are not allowed to have one nationality as a country. If any other country except for Israel pushed for we don't want any other nationality, then our country would say you're bad. If you say you only want one nationality in your country, we would fund to overthrow the leader of that country. But Israel gets to push for the Jewish people because they're the chosen ones. It seems like hypocrisy.
I want a country of all whites.
What?
I want a country of all whites.
We're not white though. We're a mix, so it makes it real tough.
Oh yeah, I'm black too.
If you want to be in this day and age in Canada, if you want to be.
Yeah, you better not fucking question it.
Yeah, if you want to be.
I'm part Lion, part African, almost full Trinidadian. Say I'm not. You go to jail in Canada.
I can remember the first time I ever thought about it was watching the 98 Nagano Olympics and thinking, hey, I could be like the Jamaican bobsled team for Trinidad. I could do winter sports. I could play like hockey. You know what I mean? I was probably 10 years old. Yeah, I was. That's 98. I was 10 years old. And
probably not too late. We
were living on Richmond Street, and I can remember that I was like, hey, like I could be in the Olympics one day for Trinidad, and because like how many winter athletes do they have? None. And I joked about it forever, but literally I should have tried actually to do something like that.
Let's go fucking play hockey.
We could just like say we're women and go into boxing.
Do they have MMA in the Olympics?
No. Because you couldn't I don't know. I don't think you could do like a like can't do tournament style like that. People get too fucked up in that. You know what I mean? In MMA, like just the cuts and broken noses, even if they win.
Yeah.
In boxing, you don't. In the boxing, they don't take that much damage because the rounds it's so quick and it's point fighting. It's really, yeah. It's a whole different style. It's more like Michael Venom Page. That's how they box in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like Floyd Mayweather, that type of boxing.
I'm really getting fucked up.
Okay, we're gonna end on this, cause I gotta get my laundry. I couldn't believe when I heard this, and so I obviously had to check it out and make sure it was true. Right? Gotta do the research. Do you remember Boy Meets World?
Yeah.
The original.
Corey Topanga.
Yeah. But you remember Corey's brother?
Yeah, Sean.
Okay. Yeah. And do you remember he had a girlfriend in it?
Who did?
Corey's brother, Sean.
Okay.
She was a tall, redheaded girl. Short hair, redheaded girl.
Okay. I don't remember.
You don't remember her?
No.
Okay. I heard that she was doing porn. And I'm like, what? So I had to make sure that it's true. And it's true.
Who's this girl?
I
I didn't look at her on the show before I even knew who it is.
She is Sean's girlfriend in that show. Way back in the day. And guess what?
Angela?
Yep. That girl is
Black?
what?
She's black?
She's white with red hair or orange hair. She is she has risen to one of the top porn stars in porn right now. I can't believe it. She's with like Ariana Chekic, whatever her fucking last name is. And like Riley Reid.
What's this girl's name? Really?
Maitland. I think Maitland. Ward. I think that's the girl's name. Because it's a weird Ward. Because it's a weird first name. I don't think I ever seen that first name ever. That girl, who was in Boy Meets World, a reoccurring character, decided very recently, a few years ago, to do porn, and rose to the top.
I've never seen this girl on the show or like that I remember or now.
She loves it. She rose to the top because she loves it.
Yeah. I don't recognize that person.
She looks a lot different than she did whenever that was, maybe 20 years ago.
Which one is she? Oh, okay. Maybe. Yeah, maybe I remember. Maybe, yeah. She likes penis.
She loves it. Hey? She loves it.
So do you.
Huh. Okay.
No?
I have no clue how long this has been going. Could have already run out of storage. I don't know. But, deuces.
Deuces.
Oh, nice. It's still going. Hour and 4 minutes.